Yeah, so thanks guys for being here with us. My name is Ruben,
Jonathan.
and we're going to take you through our 2020 product line overview. We'll also be showing you some of the new Cub products, and as we go with the Cub products, we have them here, so we'll kind of cover most of the details with that. If you have any questions, ask away in the comments. We'll answer them as we go, and then of course at the end, if you have more on anything, just let us know, and we'll take care of that as well. So I know it's been kind of weird. We haven't had a chance to do any distributor shows or, of course, Knowledge Fest shows, things like that. So this is kind of our chance to reach out to most of the guys, and we'll be recording it too. So if you guys have somebody that needs to see this later, we'll send you a link to the video, and you can share that with them as well. So we'll start on our PowerPoint here. So we're going to be covering a couple different things on the PowerPoint. So we'll go over the blind spot kits. Most of this stuff will be on the blind spot kits. There's a lot of new stuff that we want to introduce to you guys. We'll also cover, of course, our parking sensor lineup, which is a SKU. It has multiple things. Our monitor solutions, cameras, and what we do on our social media. So we'll go ahead and begin with the blind spot kits.
So what is BSD? Well, BSD stands for blind spot detection, which provides a visual and audio alert whenever a vehicle is adjacent on either lane and notifies the driver's blind spot.
All right, and so who can benefit from blind spot detection? Pretty much anybody. So now the way it is anyone from cars, anything but a turn signals pretty much can get a blind spot kit installed on their vehicle. And we'll go over some of the things as far as like the reverse cross traffic, the different mounting solutions as far as the pucks versus the bar, and we'll show you some installation steps on that as well. So these are the two different styles of bars we have. Of course, the regular bar, which is made to be on a truck. We made it specifically for a truck, but then of course, if you don't want to remove the bumper, it's an easier installation as well. Of course, we have that one, and then we also have the one with the camera built into it. And then behind the bumper solutions, where you are removing the bumper, we have the BSS2, which is the basic style version. Picks up anything approaching the vehicle. And then our BSS2X, which is a Type 3 sensor, giving you that two-way detection. Vehicles that you're passing, it'll pick up, and vehicles that are approaching, it'll pick up. I think you might want to say a little bit more about the way that works.
Yeah, so the BSS2X is a little bit different. Like Ruben mentions, the Type 3 application, meaning it detects not only vehicles that are approaching you from behind, but as well as vehicles you're passing. The previous three models, the BSS2, LPB, and the LPBC, as well as the BSS2, use GPS for speed sensing, whereas the BSS2X does not. It uses proprietary algorithm to determine the vehicle's speed and your traveling speed in order to detect moving objects and alert you. So that's one of the main advantages. It doesn't have a GPS that needs to be mounted, so it makes it more universal, and you're not required to have GPS in order to get that speed restriction. Right here, we have a couple of pictures of the behind the bumper solution. This is our BSS2X, and as you can see here, it comes included with the metal bracket. Those metal brackets are bendable, so you could adjust the height either up, down, or move it left and right in order to fit the vehicle's body line. And as you can see here, this is more convenient for those installers that want something clean behind the bumper and doesn't want a bar behind the license plate. Right, here's a picture of the bar solution. So as you can see, on the picture on the left is mounted on the top side. So the bar can be oriented below or on the top of a license plate. Usually for truck applications, being that there's no adjustment at the bottom due to that step in there, you're recommended to mount that bar on the top side. It does have a wedge, so you could slide that bar up and down, so you don't have to cover the tags. In certain states, it's illegal, so that adjustability is there. On the right picture, you can see the bar is placed on a regular sedan. However, if you look closely where the screws connect to the license plate, there's a wedge behind that. And the wedges we do offer is a 5, 10, and 15 degree angle wedge, and that's to make the bar perpendicular to the body of to the floor. So that bar needs to be perpendicular to the floor so it can give you the best detection zone available in the line of sight is not pointing upward or down due to the fact that some vehicles have a angle to that trunk or the tailgate of a SUV pickup truck. Right here we have a couple of installation steps just to show the ease of installation. It's a very straightforward install. The first step you're going to do is figure out the application, whether it's behind the bumper solution or if you want a license plate solution. Second, you have the LEDs that usually go to your 8-pillar. Step 3 is a very basic 5-wire install. You have a 12-volt ground, left and right turn signal, as well as reverse. Step 4 is routing your speaker. And step 5 for the 2-bar application and the BSS2, routing the GPS antenna. And with that said, those 3 applications do have a dip switch where you can select the speed restriction at which the sensors begin to detect. By default, we have it at 20 miles per hour, which is what we've tested to be the most common, most comfortable speed. However, you could lower that speed all the way down to 5 miles per hour, 10 and 15 mile settings as well. And here are more pictures of how it goes behind the bumper, where you will route the LED to the 8-pillar. And on the LED side, there's 2 LED colors. There's a black face and a silver. So depending on the vehicle's color interior, you guys are going to make the option on which LED looks best for that pillar. And right here, we're going to show you a demonstration, a real-life demonstration on the BSS2, which is a Type 3 unit in action.
Now this is going to be a video of the reverse cross traffic, so this is basically going to give you a good idea of what's going on when you're in reverse. These blind spot kids. I'm not going to pick up anything stationary. It's all off. It's only going to detect me. Just a quick idea of what's going on. Some people always ask if it works like sensors. It doesn't. It's not going to pick up anything stationary, only moving objects. And so we'll get into the Cub stuff. There's 2 trailer/motorhome style kits that we have for Cub. One of them is going to be the trailer version, which is you're towing something, right? And so this kit, the main difference on the actual display for the LEDs is going to be what comes in the box to display the LEDs. So what's circled there on the PowerPoint is what you'll be seeing as far as left and right indication. And the cool thing about it is if you're only using it to tow once, out of the year, then you can remove that down from the mount that it has. Or if you're using it, every single day, then you'll have that displayed up there. The main piece that's going to connect the information from the trailer to the actual vehicle you're using to tow is just a basic trailer plug hookup. So you'll have this installed on the vehicle you're using to tow, and like I mentioned, it's just literally a quick disconnect wire that you're going to plug in or unplug when you're in use or not in use. The hardware, as far as the radar pucks that come in the kit itself, are identical to the one for the motorhome. So you'll be seeing a big radar puck that looks like this. right? So you'll have one of these mounted on the left, one of these mounted on the right, and these are going to be the same for both kits. So you'll see one of these on the left and right side, and they both do the Type 3 style sensor where they do passing, approaching, reverse cross traffic, and everything that you would see in our BSS2X kit. For the motorhome version, it's going to, like I said, have the same radar pucks built in there. The actual LED lights that you're going to see are going to be different for the motorhome version. So on this next slide, you'll see that they're regular A-pillar style mount. So that's the LED notification on the motorhome version. But performance-wise, you're going to see the same thing. Like I said, Type 3 sensors, passing, approaching, reverse cross traffic. So you'll get all those notifications on these motorhome kits, as well as the same radar pucks.
Yeah, and one thing to keep in mind is, due to the size of these pucks, and obviously you're either in a large vehicle, motorhome, trailer, these pucks are sticking out for safety, of course. One thing to keep in mind, God forbid, being that it's a wide body application, someone swipes you and hits the sensor. These sensors are breakable, so they're meant to shatter upon impact, so they don't damage the body or the trailer, the aluminum sheet. So if you get an impact, these will shatter upon the impact and not cause any damage on your vehicle.
Right, and there is a couple of different lengths that these kits come with. So they range anywhere from 25 to 55 feet of cable, depending on the size of the motorhome or trailer that you're using. So we'll go into some of the OEM tail light blind spot detection kit. So there are a handful of different blind spot applications for these trucks. We do carry 3 different models, starting with the Ram, the Ford F-150, and the Silverado 1500. And so the cool thing about these kits is that I think it's probably an easier installation, right?
Yeah, so as far as the tail light, these are all OEM applications. So as you can see here, the tail light system, it's the OEM plug ISO standard. So it's meant to plug and connect to every connection there. And it's very easy installation. So basically on these units, all you're doing is routing all the cabling to the light system itself. It's connected to OBD2, being that these are OEM. It connects to the OBD2. The only wire install that the installer is doing, it's an ignition line, and that's it. And routing, of course, your LED indicator. So it's pretty simple install. It's all routed. It's all connector ISO standard, weatherized proof, and it's very simple install. And this is one thing that we couldn't offer previously. As we mentioned with the bar system, that was our only solution previously for these pickup trucks installs. Now, for certain application, of course, the common 3 pickup trucks out there, we have this application now available for the consumer there. Of course, it's a much nicer install, cleaner look, and it's something that was asked by our installers.
Yeah, the motorcycle blind spot.
So for the motorcycle blind spot, this is first in their kind, the only one out there that we know of as of yet. So this is a blind spot detection system that is meant to be mounted on the license plate on any motorcycle out there. There is certain restrictions, however. Of course, it has to be under the rear seat of the motorcycle. A side-mounted license plate application will not benefit from this application. You cannot orientate this vertically, unfortunately. However, it works in the same manner as a Type 3 system, so it'll detect vehicles approaching you as well as vehicles passing you. These all work off of the speed sense as well, so meaning the sensors won't engage until you reach a minimum speed of 15 miles an hour. That's where the sensors will start engaging. It has weather-proof LED indicators that will be routed to your mirrors on the motorcycle. And the way that this alerts, of course, being a motorcycle, you guys have a visual notification through the LED. However, you don't have a speaker. So to combat that, they use a vibrator that will go underneath the seat of the motorcycle that will vibrate whenever you try to do a lane change maneuver and there's a vehicle in your detection zone. So that vibrator will vibrate and you'll also get your LED notifications as well. Okay.
So we'll move along to the digital parking sensors. The parking sensor that we're doing right now, the PSR 4000, is pretty much an all-in-one kit. Before we did have a handful of different ones, front, rear, front and rear. This kit basically has everything you need in the box to get the job done. It's going to have 4 sensors, all your extension cables, the option to pick between a speaker or a LED display. If you're going to add on, say, an additional 4 sensors for the front eventually, you can use that same brain and the wire harness that it came with to do that. So all you're doing at that point is plugging in 4 more sensors into the brain. The port will have everything that you need there, and then, like I said, you'll have the option to pick either an LED layout for the front, speaker for the back, or vice versa. And there's a bunch of different ways to mount these. Totally paintable, works on plastic or metal. And so there's a bunch of different configurations you can do with these sensor kits. And it's all, like I mentioned, all in one box. So,
and right here we're showing the PSK4, which is the additional 4 sensor kit. So as mentioned previously, this sensor could cover up to 8 sensors. So it gives you the just ability to do front and back application. Of course, you don't have to add the PSK4. You can also split the configuration, 2 in the front, 2 in the back, with the sensors already included in the kit.
Some monitor solutions we'll go over. Most of you guys are probably familiar with all of our mirrors that we do carry. One that we want to show you is going to be this BSS MI. So the BSS MI works with all of our blind spot kits. It's going to be a 4.3-inch LCD that sits behind that glass. Left and right indicators. So whenever your blind spot kit does go off, it'll flash there right in the mirror. And this does have dual inputs, which is a good thing. And we'll mention some of the cameras later that will work good with this kit. Our frameless mirror, which is real similar to that MI without the LED notifications. Like I said, all of our mirrors are all dual input, so 4.3-inch screen. We have the ones with auto dimming, compass and temperature, all OEM looking mirrors. And then of course our commercial M7000, our M7020 is the new model, the 7-inch monitor. That one works. It actually has a speaker built into it, has a visor built onto it, dual input, and works with all of our commercial cameras. And then of course the 5-inch and a 3.5-inch, all dual input.
And one thing that's new with the M7020P that our previous M7000 did not have, which made it a little bit difficult to look at the button at nighttime. Now they have backlit buttons, so it's more visible at nighttime while you're driving, and makes it easier to change the screen if needed. It also can be mounted not only with the stand as well, but it has the conversion kit that you can add on a mount to mount on the windshield if necessary as well.
All right, to be used like a mount. So good examples like our NV van or Sprinter where you don't have a back window, it's pointless. You can actually mount one of these in place of a mirror so that you can see what's going on behind you. We'll show you our camera lineup. There's some pretty cool pictures actually in here too, showing the quality between, one of our competitors' cameras versus our entry level versus our higher end cameras, and those are pretty good pictures to show. So our HD camera, of course, is the highest resolution one that we have, and then our most common entry level Mini 3, which is really good as well. Competition. These are the pictures that we took. Competitor's camera versus our entry-level Mini 3 camera, and then our HD4 camera. Let me show that one more time, just to get another look. So we'll show you again. But most of all, I think the HD camera is just good to be used with any bigger style monitor. You really notice, the differences in those. So like the, those Alpines, the Halo, or the Kenwood bigger screens. Like this camera is a really good camera. The HD, as far as the resolution goes, and mount on a vehicle that you're going to be using one of those screens for.
And keep in mind, guys, that all of our cameras are front and rear facing application. They also have the on and off trajectory lines for parking line assist, as well as the quick disconnect harness, which is new for 2020. And the quick disconnect harness is something new that we thought of due to installers and keeping them in mind. The quick disconnect wire has three pieces to it. So of course you have the camera itself, you have that red and black one in the middle, which is your voltage reducer, and then you have your RCA video extension. And with this setup, it allows you, God forbid that the power voltage reducer goes bad, it allows you to just quickly disconnect that centerpiece and exchange it with a new one without having to reroute the entire harness as previously done. So that's one of the unique things about this quick disconnect harness. It allows you to take care of a customer quickly instead of having to schedule and have to reroute the entire wire. With that said as well, that RCA cable that you see there has 4 wires now that we call pass-throughs. And it's a way to get your triggers actually. Commonly, you'll have a monitor trigger output at the end of the tip of the RCA cable. Now, that gives you 12 volts whenever you're in reverse. Now, you manually choose whether or not you need a trigger or not. So if it's not needed, you don't have to connect any of those pass-through wires. However, now if you have different configurations, you could do a regular backup camera connection, as you see here. You could turn on the camera through ACC, which is something common that a lot of these new head units have an accessory, so you could manually look at the camera while driving. But with this configuration, you could pass voltage from the front of the head monitor to the back of the camera using those pass-through wires. And you have 2 available, so if you need them for any trigger, you have them there as your choice. Right here we have a couple more cameras ranging from 480 TV lines up to 600 TV lines. The CMLED4 has a night vision camera. It's a front and rear application as well. The APL3 has active parking lines assist, so it will swivel with the movement of the vehicle. It has a built-in gyro that offers that trajectory assist. It has 8 mini LEDs that give you nighttime vision clarity, and it's all on off, so you could turn off LEDs, you could turn off parking lines, and you could face it forward if needed as well. Right here we have a couple more setups. The CM Duo 3 is another high-end resolution camera that also offers 960 just like the HD4. The unique part about this camera, this is only a rear-facing camera, and it gives you 2 options. You could do a regular standard view, or you could do a vertical top-down view, a 90-degree top-side angle. So this is good for a box trucks application, third brake light application, that if those vehicles are not available, you could go ahead and do. And the CM Lit 4, similar application for rear, but you can also face this one for front. So this is a front and back application with that style of camera, which is good for lips or front spoilers of vehicles if you want a front-facing camera. Right here we have a CM side camera. So this is useful for something if you have a turn signal and you want to see your blind spot while driving. This is a good application. It comes with its own harness that contains the flashing. So when your turn signal is flashing, it keeps that camera on. It's not turning on and off for you. And if there's the CM CKH2, which is a keyhole, this is very useful for installers that are building something and have to just stick a regular camera into something, or if there's no tailgate handle for a pickup truck, you usually see installers just drill out a hole and put this camera there for rear view application. And right here we have the CM D700, which is exactly like the side camera, but with 2 cameras. It has 2 cameras with 1 video output, left and right control through triggers. So whichever trigger is engaged is going to give you that visual camera. And here we have our CM switcher, which is a 3 input to 1 output. This is very useful when you want to have a 4 camera system setup. So used in conjunction with this RCM D700, which controls left and right, you could also have a front and rear camera application on this CM switcher. So the benefit of this is for those customers that want to cover front, back, rear, and left, and don't want a DVR recorder. This is something that you could offer with our cameras and cover all 4 sides of the vehicle.
I think one thing though, going back to that D700, like I was mentioning earlier about the BSSMI, is that you have a second input on that BSSMI mirror. So if you're doing a blind spot bar with the camera and that mirror, you have that second input option. And I think the D700 is probably the perfect thing to go with, because not only are you going to get the notification for your left and right blind spot, you're also going to see what's going on if you hit that turn signal, and it'll pop up right there in your mirror. So it's super close to, you know, your face, your vision. You don't have to turn anywhere, see what's going on. Once you engage that turn signal wire, you're going to either get a notification from your blind spot, but you're always going to see what's actually going on in that, you know, section, so left or right, whatever you're triggering as far as a turn signal. So that's one thing I always try to remind people, that those cameras are there. Then back to our tailgates, of course. They've been really good for us. What's in the camera that's in these, that are all vehicle specific, of course, is basically equivalent to our mini camera. So they're already pre-assembled, ready to go out of the box. And like I mentioned, the quality that you see of the camera is our mini camera. It's the camera that's basically in all of our tailgate handles. Of course, our commercial cameras. Probably the most popular ones that we have are the black and white version. These are the ones you see on most box trucks, FedEx trucks, anything commercial style flatbeds. We usually get customers buying these. One thing that people kind of miss out on, I think, is the B1000P. That is going to be like a side camera style commercial cam. So you can actually unlock those screws that are there, rotate the lens in the housing, and then lock it back to its position it needs to be in. So wherever that camera is pointed, so say if it's on the side of the vehicle, you can rotate the lens, and it'll kind of be like a turn signal camera where you'll see everything that's going on. The T1000P, that's like a top-down style, so anybody that's not able to do like a third brake light camera and they need something commercial grade, that would be the camera, and you can also adjust the lens in there. And all these cameras have built-in microphones, so if you're using it with one of our 7-inch monitors, you'll be able to hear what's going on the speaker that's on that 7-inch monitor. Some accessories that we have, of course, the BL01 is probably the more popular version. It works with all of our cube style cameras, and it gives you the option to mount it dead center of a license plate. So you can use this on the front, actually, too, or the rear. Most people use it on the rear, of course. And then our Jeep bracket, our Jeep spare tire bracket, which also works with all of our cube cameras and pretty much any spare tire on the back of a vehicle. The fact that it can adjust up, down, left, and right, twist and turn, you can adjust it to any rim style that you see. And our social media, which we try to stay up on as much as we can. We encourage installers and dealers, if they have pictures of jobs that they've done and they want a shout out, email us, and we can post you guys up there. But we try to put some good information on our YouTube channel, installs, and just little things that we come across that we feel like it's important information for people to know. We'll try to post videos of stuff like that on there. And so everybody's feedback really does help. But yeah, if you guys have any questions about anything, let us know right now. That was the product overview, and let us know if you have any questions at all.